Hey everyone, my name is Tribal Instincts, and today we are talking about Skyrim VR. I live streamed about an hour to an hour and a half of it the day that it came out, and I was both probably equally in awe and also equally disappointed with the game at the same time. I could definitely see myself losing hours in it. However, there was just, it was nagging me because I was expecting better graphics, I was expecting better UI, and the graphics were, well, they fell short. And also the user interface was horrible. I can say that since I played on that live stream night, I've put in a few more hours and I've modded the game, which if you've never modded a Skyrim game before, which I hadn't before this, it is a bit of a process. So at the end of this, I'm going to talk a little bit more on kind of how I did it. I'm not going to do a tutorial. There's a couple amazing Reddit guides that I recommend following, and I'll kind of point you in the right direction, but then just follow that. So I've modded since then. Absolutely changes everything, okay? So you would think that just, oh, modding adds some extra graphics, adds some extra content, which yes, it does. However, the level of just feeling of immersion that you're able to get from just a few basic mods is mind-blowing. Specifically, the one that I recommend the most is lowering the lights, and I think it's lights and effects. Anyway, I'll go into the mods later on, but lowering the lights inside caves, unbelievably awesome experience. So even just the first cave, you're walking through it, and you know that some of the kind of the undead that's lying in these crypts are going to get up. It's very obvious. However, whenever you can't see very much without having a torch in your hand, you're stuck, like kind of handicapping yourself in terms of your offensive capability as well as what you can see. Anyway, long story short, I'm walking through this cave. It's pitch black. I'm able to just see a little bit of what's in front of me. I know that zombies are getting up. I can hear them all around me. I'm sure that I've gotten all the ones that I've passed, but of course I didn't. So here I am killing zombies ahead of me, and I'm hearing something, and I'm frantically looking around. I turn around and I see nothing but glowing eyes 3 feet away from me. I nearly lost it. If you guys have seen me live stream any of the horror games, you know that I'm a wimp. But nonetheless, like, yeah, I might have screamed, but I loved every minute of it, okay? So take the time and mod Skyrim. It changes so much about it. Unfortunately, the thing that has not been fixed yet from a mod that I've seen is the horrible user interface, okay? So most of the things that I don't like about the game, or that I don't like about the vanilla version of the game, meaning like the low resolution, the blurriness, like most of the visual complaints, and also like some audio, like there are some really good mods for improving the sound. Most of those complaints go away thanks to mods. So while I am not happy with Bethesda with how they implemented this VR adaptation of the game, I can say that mods saved the day for 90% of this port to VR. What they don't fix is the terrible, terrible decisions they made for the user interface. The menu system is garbage, okay? I absolutely hate it. It's probably one of the worst menus I've used in a VR game, mainly because you have like these massive lists of text that you need to scroll through for like your armor, for your potions, whatever it is, and you're using the touchpad to scroll through it, and it's really finicky. Like, I want to go down 4. I can't just click 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you have to kind of slide it just slow enough, and then without fail, I always go past it, have to go back up. So the menu system, terrible. I really hope somebody finds a way to mod that to where we can actually use more usable VR controls. So there's that aspect of it that I absolutely despise. Also, same thing with Fallout 4. They have not figured out how to make objects real. Meaning you walk up to a chest and you have to press a button, meaning the very center of the touchpad. But be careful, you can't press up on that touchpad, otherwise it opens up your favorites menu. So I don't know how many times I've tried to open up a chest or loot something, and I open up my favorites where I wanted to just open the chest and grab stuff out of it. Horribly frustrating. Like, this is, if it weren't for all of the other benefits that having Skyrim in VR gives me, like that in and of itself would be enough for a negative review. Thankfully, this is a massive game. Thankfully, I love the Elder Scrolls franchise. Thankfully, this is a huge game, and the mods make it beautiful. It makes it immersive. But interacting with objects sucks. I would have given this a bad review if it weren't for everything else. Also, the melee combat, like also going into more of the physical elements of that. It's so disappointing. Like, it doesn't feel like you are sword fighting, okay? So it just, from what it feels like to me, or for like the way that I think they might have implemented this, is really if they detect a motion, they're like basically simulating a trigger press. So there's no actual like sword combat. You're not parrying. You're not doing anything real. You're just like, you could probably just get away with doing this, and it would be a full swing. And you want to know how you swing harder? You hold down the trigger whenever you swing. You don't swing your hand harder. No. You just hold down the trigger. Yeah. Okay, so those are those are really big negatives, right? The UI and the interaction with objects. Now, again, kind of like the other saving grace with like the graphics and the sound, the interaction system also has a couple other saving graces. Bow combat is satisfying as long as you don't use the default settings. Go into your settings the very first thing and use realistic bow controls. Otherwise, it's the worst bow mechanic I've ever seen. The default bow is garbage. Just do yourself a favor and make it realistic. Anyway, so you got bow, you got magic. Those two together are enough for me, okay? I never actually really was into the melee combat in any of the Oblivion games to begin with, so I don't feel like that's a huge loss for my particular playstyle. I've always favored the mage roles in pretty much any RPG. So for me, I'm okay with this, okay? So I have firebolt or lightning or whatever in one hand, and then whenever I'm in a cave, I have to have a torch in my other hand, walking around. It is one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had in a VR game. In any RPG so far. Like, it works. It is so much fun. I'm absolutely in love with this, and I cannot. I really need somebody to mod the UI system. Okay, so if you're watching this, if you're a modder, let me know, or even if you're just watching it, please drop me a comment. I'm gonna keep checking myself, but if anybody sees a mod for completely overhauling the UI system, let me know. That would take this review from being a strong recommendation to being everybody must buy this game kind of thing, okay? So it's that big of a deal. So I think that's pretty much my one-take review thoughts on this. I don't think I've really missed it too much. I mean, if you've already, like, there's a whole lot of, like, gameplay pieces that I'm obviously not talking about because Skyrim's, you know, like, a decade old? I don't even know how old it is. It's old. So there's enough reviews on the gameplay content of Skyrim. Obviously, nothing really changing in that. They just did an adaptation so you can walk around with your head inside the game, and it is pretty much it is almost a childhood dream come true. If they had actually made it to where objects weren't these things that I just clicked a button on, and if they made it to where I could actually swing a sword and get a result, you would have a childhood dream in its full. But as it is fun. I love it, and I will be playing the heck out of this. Like, this is going to be my go-to game in my free time, probably for a good while to come. All right, so that pretty much wraps up my thoughts so far on Skyrim VR. Again, love it. Wish they had done more. I'm really angry that they spent such a trivial amount of effort making the UI system feel good, making the object interaction feel good, but whatever. Moving on, so now we're talking about how to make this game so much better, which is with the mods. So there are two Reddit posts that I highly recommend going and checking out. One is a step-by-step guide on how to install and use an application called Vortex, which is the mod management system, and it works very well. Okay, it makes things so much easier. There's also another Reddit post that goes into what mods he installed that made it better, made it look amazing, and also an efficiency list. So things that just makes the game run better. So again, links in the description. Check those out. Huge thanks to everybody that's compiled these how-tos on doing the mods. If you guys still are having trouble with this, drop a comment and maybe I can do a video if y'all really need me to. There's a lot of other guides out there right now that are doing the exact same thing, so I'm not sure if that's going to be a valuable use of time, or if anybody has just an amazing video guide or just something else that has really helped them out. Put that in the comments below as well. We're all just here to help each other, right? And that is it for me for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. If you didn't, hit the downvote button and tell me what I can do to make these videos better. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.